yet another record high, this time near $95,000 as Wall Street launches more ways to bet on
The beauty of man is his ability to reinvent himself, to go from no one to someone, broke to rich. How the story starts is not how it needs to end. And you're in control. The game's not finished until you quit or die trying. Every year I become unrecognizable from the year before, and I'm going to show you exactly how I do it, so you can become the hero in your story and never turn back. In order to reinvent yourself, you have to first change your perspective, because the world comes at you exactly the way you see the world. And my life didn't always look like this. I started in a 9-to-5, but I gained a skill. The skill to find the glimmers of hope, even in the mundane. And that's where everything starts. No matter what point you're at in your life right now, there's always hope. There's always something you can be doing. And it starts with changing your perspective. Change the perspective you have of yourself. Because when you change the perspective you have of yourself, your entire worldview changes. The way you act changes. The decisions you make changes. And the way I've done this in my life is, number one, with information. What's the information that you're taking in? You're always being programmed. Remember that. You're always being programmed by something. What's going into your brain is changing your concepts of reality all the time. So when I was younger, one of the first movies I went to the cinema to see on my own, I snuck into this movie. And when I was about 14 years old, and it was The Wolf of Wall Street. And my mum always used to say to me, Jack, you can't watch things that fill your head full of rubbish because it's going to make you go crazy. And I was one of those kids. Like, I watched the spy movie in the cinema. I came out and punched my brother in the head. That's just the kind of kid I was. Now, when I went and watched The Wolf of Wall Street, you can imagine what kind of life choices that led me to making at that time. The information you put in your mind, whether it be movies, music, the videos you watch, is programming you. So one of the easiest ways to change your perception of reality and your perception of yourself is to change the information you're putting in. Read some books. Watch some videos that are based on self-improvement. Change the movies that you watch. I can't watch Wolf of Wall Street anymore, which is a bit of a shame because I'm still so heavily impacted by movies. I have to be really careful in what I put into my mind. The next thing is your peer group, probably even more influential than what you watch on TV or the books that you read or the videos you watch, is the people, the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you want to reinvent yourself, if the people around you are not the person that you want to become, you pick up their habits. You're programmed by them. We fall to the standards of the pack. We do not rise to the standards in our own head. We fall to the standards of the pack, what's accepted by the pack. So this goes hand in hand with my next point. You change your environment and you change your peers. You want to reinvent yourself in 2025? Get around 4 or 5 other people that are doing better than you in the area you want to improve in. You go and hang out with a couple of guys that are going to the gym every day. One guy that's making a load of money. Where do you find these guys? You can join networks. You can join the New Elite. We've put these guys together all around the world. You can find info on that underneath. Or you can go to better gyms. You can go and join a fight gym, get punched in the face, be around some killers. Buy a membership to the best gym in your town. Go and sit in the sauna with some business people in your local town. You have to start where you can start right now. Whatever's the next best choice you can make right now. Because you've got to remember, you're always voting for or against your current self or your future self. Every single decision you make. So my next challenge to you is for the next 30 days, if you want to reinvent yourself, make the right decisions. Decide who you're going to hang out with and not hang out with. Decide the information you're going to put into your brain and make an action plan. Make a plan on the things you're going to do and the things you're not going to do. This is so important because you don't change unless your perception of yourself changes. And this happens very simply. In order to change your perception of yourself, you have to keep a promise to yourself. That's where real internal self-belief, self-confidence comes from saying you're going to wake up at 7 a.m., 6 a.m., 5 a.m. for 30 days, and you wake up at that time. As soon as you wake up after that time, you're degrading your internal confidence. What most people do is, instead of looking to build internal confidence, which you have control over, is they decide to look for the validation of others. They look for validation in likes, in social media, in porn, in girlfriends, in the people they're around. They want to be accepted. You will never be accepted to a level you find acceptable unless you learn to accept yourself, unless you learn to love yourself through your habits, dropping your bad habits, doing the things that you say you're going to do and not doing the things that you know are destroying your life. That's how you build internal self-confidence, and it's becoming that new character. So a lot of people struggle to change their habits because they go at it through the mindset of the person I am now trying to change. I'd like you to reframe that and do it in a different way. Pretend you're somebody else. Pretend you're you if you were an absolute savage. Pretend you're still you, but you're the version of you that kicks your ass at everything. Pretend you're that version of yourself and design that version of yourself. Design that character. Who is he? How does he speak? How does he dress? Who does he hang out with? What decision does he make? When that thing crosses his path where he has to make a decision, oh, should I go gym? Should I skip? Should I eat this? Should I eat that? What decision does he make? And just listen to him for the next 30 days. Listen to him for the next 30 days and you can reinvent yourself for the rest of your life. Because after those 30 days, if you started to act like him, and you've started to think like him, and you've followed through for 30 days, you've become him, and you've reinvented yourself. And the world may not see it yet, but at that point, you no longer need the world to see it because you've noticed the change. You've noticed the change in the way your mind works, in your positive self-talk, in the way you look after yourself. And they're the things that matter. They're the things that make the big difference. When reinventing yourself, you become a new person, and you act like that person. He makes different actions, different choices, and they change your life. They change the external world, and it all starts with changing your perception. Now I'm going to drop some actionable advice for you to take straight after this video that you can go out there and begin to reinvent yourself. What are your current issues? Probably not making enough money, probably getting out of bed late, probably not going to the gym every day, probably, I don't know what you're doing, probably porn. You're probably doing porn at the moment. So stop doing all that stuff. And instead replace those habits with good habits. Replace the alcohol with going to the gym. Replace everything that's bad in your life currently, the things that you know you should stop, and replace them with good habits. And finally, don't forget to be relentless, to never give up on the dream, to fight for the dream every day. I've never seen a person, and I've never experienced myself doing everything right in my life and not getting what I wanted. Everything you want is there for the taking, and you know exactly how to get it. I don't need to tell you. You know what you should and shouldn't be doing, but then you need to be relentless. You need to have this new fire, this new character, this new person that does not give up. He knows the rules and he follows them every day. And you begin to control that new character, control that new area of your life, control that new person and get him to do exactly what you wish. That is true control of yourself. That's true reinvention. When you finally get control over the person you are and switch it for the person that you want to be. Your life right now, although it may not seem it, is full of opportunities. Everybody's life is. For instance, when I worked a 9 to 5, there was two ways I could have looked at it. Okay, I work this job, it sucks. I'm going to complain about it. I'm going to go home and drink or play video games, forget about it, go back. This is just my life. I got a bad hand. I can't do anything about it. I didn't choose to look at my life that way. Instead, what I did was I found the small opportunities inside of my life at that time. So when I was doing a 9 to 5, I was cold calling people and I would try and sell them phone systems. I would try and sell a business that already had a phone system, another phone system. A very difficult job. But one day I spoke to a customer and he said to me, I'm building a sales team and I'm going to need a new phone system for them. And I said, oh, we're getting on pretty well. Here's my number, personal number, just in case you want to get back in touch with me after you've got the phone system. I'd be happy to work some time on the side for you if you need anyone. He said, yeah, it's actually remote. You can do it from home. And I was like, okay, that's cool. What happened next? We had COVID. For everybody else in the world, for the majority of people, COVID was the worst thing ever. It ruined their lives. I took COVID as an opportunity. So I got furloughed from my work. In the UK, this meant you got a part of your salary to go and sit at home because you couldn't be in the office. So I had part of my salary coming in. And rather than sit there, I called this guy. I said, hey, Tony, I'd like to do some work for you on the side. Is your business still running? He said, yeah, it is. I started earning double money. In the point where everybody else was losing their jobs, losing their businesses, I'd found a way, a glimmer of hope in the dark in order to make money. What did I do with that money? I saved that money. I got inside the gym and I started plotting a big vision. a big plan for my life. I had time and I had money coming in. So I saved that money. I kept it. I didn't go out. I didn't drink. I kept that money. And I made this big vision. Oh, I want to go to Thailand. I'd like to do social media. I'd like to make YouTube videos. I'd like to help men change their lives. That's what I decided in my head. And I saved that money. And I was relentless every day in gaining more money. And I was relentless in doing the good habits. And then I took my opportunity. I risked it all. I went away from all the money. I quit my jobs and I went to Thailand. And I went on a mission. And that helped me become a new person. I found the glimmers of hope. I was grateful for what I had. I stacked my cash. I took a risk. I changed environments. And I threw myself into the dark. And I look back on that now, 3 years into this journey. And every single year I change. Every single year I use the same exact principles, no matter what level I'm at. What did I do last year that didn't help me achieve the goal?